Hey YouTube, this is Scarecrow Kaiser. I'm going to do a deck profile for you guys today on a Chaos Breaker deck. There's no particular, nothing new to really add to the deck since it's been around. I just have never gotten to doing a deck profile for it. Um, so, I took this build over the weekend to 2 tournaments, both of which I went undefeated. I think I had to go to game 3 twice in between both tournaments, but between both tournaments I went undefeated, only ever having to go to game 3 twice. 2 times I did. Once was deck out. That game, I couldn't get any of my ways to unflip damage, and I ran out of options and couldn't push back, so, other than that, my other loss was I didn't open up with a grade 1, I G-assisted, and even though I run 15 grade 1s, I still didn't get a grade 1, so that started out really rough. As it continued on, I fought back real hard. Thought I was gonna win. They brought out a Blizza. I guarded for 2 to pass because that's what I could afford to, and they passed. They had like a 20 card deck with like 3 triggers left, and they passed. So, but I went undefeated overall. So, all right, I'm just gonna get started into this now. So this is the 16 G Zone Chaos Breaker deck. So for grade 3s, I'm going to start, there's only 7 of them, 3 Chaos Bringer, and 3 Chaos Breaker. So I'm probably going to actually change it to 4 and 4. I really don't like running the 7 grade 3s. Like, there are a lot of times I struggled to get to a grade 3. I'm probably just going to do the 4 and 4. But yeah, no really complaints. Like, I think both cards are completely... Obviously, this card's good, and Chaos Breaker, I like running him, or Chaos Bringer, I mean, to get to it. It's kind of difficult sometimes to jump right to Chaos Breaker using him. A lot of times I ride him, I can't, jump right away. I have to, wait a turn, but, yeah. Into the grade 2 lineup, this is where it gets a little more techie-ish, I guess. Well, there's at least one techie thing. So first I'm going to start with, I play 3 iron. I won't argue playing 4 of it. I'm just running 3 because that's just how I've been running it. I'll get to that in a minute. 3 photons. 3 colony maker, and 2 flash gun. So I kind of wanted to play flash gun. That's why my lineup's a little bit different. These flash guns could obviously be an iron and another photon, but I kind of like flash gun in the sense that he puts on pressure for them to guard him. I don't know that I will stick like this. I might go back to 4 iron and 4 photon, but flash gun's been pretty good. Because you can't always get, you can't make all 3 of your columns have, what's his face, volt lines. But this guy is a grade 2 volt line, so while he's more vulnerable to being killed by being attacked and stuff, it just helps, create more pressure. And between, this deck's, trigger lineup and the pressure that the units can put out, you're gonna be, forcing your opponent to guard heavy, and then, I'll get to that in a moment. So, into the grade 1 lineup, 4 dealers for stride fodder. I'm probably going to cut that to 3, I think, though. I'm putting in 8th grade 3. 4 Prometheums, 3 volt line, and I know a lot of people don't, but I run 4 zinc. There are times where, you have obviously easy access to your grade 1s in this deck, but there are times where, things go really bad, and if you can't get to this card, Like you just don't have the ways to recruit it, or they're getting damage checked, or whatever it be. You have to be able to get this card at least once a game. You need to use this card, and even though you have ways to get it, I just want to play 4 of it to make sure I have the option. Another thing is you'd probably ask why I'm not playing the Limit Break Enabler or Charcoal. I don't like Charcoal. I am not that gung-ho about getting to my Limit Break Enabler. I don't think you should be in this deck. A lot of people don't play this deck right. This deck has to be played like very carefully. You can easily overextend your options and run out of like you should, like some people like rush to it, and a lot of the people I play against, every time I'm unlocking things, they're picking up their things expecting me to kill them, and I'm like, no, I'm not killing your stuff. No, I'm not killing your stuff. No, I'm not killing your stuff. You have to leave cards out so that you can keep the board locked. You don't win by getting the pluses off Chaos Breaker. You win by holding them in their field locked down where their field is useless as long as you can. And Chaos Breaker isn't there to get you card advantage necessarily, as much as is to keep you from keep your advantage going. Keep the opponent locked down, and if your resources are falling behind, let one card unlock and then kill like one card. You don't have to kill all of them, just kill like enough cards so that you can draw and keep your engine going. Yeah. For my Grid Zeros, my starter, Carbon, fantastic card, 0 complaints. I really like this card. And then my trigger lineup is 4 Shift Dragon, an amazing card. This card is so good. And then 8 more crits for a total of 12 crit. With this deck's draw power, there's no need to run draw triggers. In fact, like, I think draw triggers would be a really bad idea because they would. This deck can sometimes struggle with decking out, especially since it's a very slow-paced deck, and draw triggers would just make it even harder to not deck out. And with a deck that doesn't have as much push power as other decks, it's more of like a keep the opponent from doing anything. You don't have as much push power. The 12 crits help do that, especially as I was mentioning earlier with the units that apply pressure. When you have when you're attacking, and your opponent doesn't want the attacks to hit, but then crits are being applied and put on cards. So then they're like, do you want me to crit you, or do you want me to hit you on Omega Lock something? So, and then last, obviously, 4 heals. So that's it for the main deck. Onto the G Zone. We got 4 Big Crunch. So good. This clan benefited massively from being able to run more G Zone spots, like especially that card. It's so good being able to use Big Crunch more than once a game. For Chaos Universe, fantastic first stride, especially if you had to go first and then they stride first, they attack you and you get the G guard, and then your first Chaos Breaker gets the call a card locked, and then you lock another. It's so good. Next, I've got 2 Amnesties and 1 Excelix, mostly for the mirror match. Other than that, these things are pretty much vanillas, but in the mirror match, this thing like wins the game. So, and there's not a lot of other Link Joker grade 4s to really run. So, then I play 2 Blizzas, like I do in a lot of my decks that you've seen. But Blizza is so good. For one, it's another thing to help out with the mirror match. If you don't have resources, especially in like a deck like this, where you don't have a way to push back, Blizza can come out and be huge. I use the Blizza a lot. Like, I go into Blizza quite frequently in this deck. I really like playing it. And then for G guards, 1 Dismal and 2 Screws. The Starvader, dealing Joker G unit, it's pretty terrible in this deck. The only deck it's actually good in, kind of, is the Messiah deck. So I just didn't bother with it. I'm just running these. and it worked perfectly fine. So, but yeah, that is it for this deck profile. As I said, over the weekend, played it in 2 tournaments, won defeated in both, only going to game 3 twice. But thank you for watching.